All right, guys, we are back for another Dokkan Battle video. So it is definitely hot take season. I think we're still a couple of days out from the reveal of the next Dokkan Fest. I think it'll be on the 27th, but we'll see. We'll see. 27th is when I think we'll get details. Still 3 days away. Feels like a good time for hot takes anyway, because we're basically moving away from the third biggest celebration of the year, although I mean, bro, of the three biggest celebrations of the year, we've had two, and neither I think have kind of like gotten all the way there. It's like, oh my god, so amazing, right? So, but leading into the third of the three biggest celebrations of the year, GDC coming up, I think now is the time to have these types of discussions with a lot of players. Now I've seen this guy around Celtic Link, so this is kind of like an up and coming YouTuber right here. So I felt like this would be a really good video to do because, I mean, I could, put a spotlight on an upcoming YouTuber. Celtic, I do recognize, I've seen a lot of Celtics talk. He disagrees with me seemingly on most stuff. I saw, there's one, I'll tell y'all when the tweet that I saw like just pop up on the timeline, which led me to do this video. I'll tell you when we get to it. But I do expect most of these will be kind of the opposite of things I think. But that usually I think probably does lead to the best kind of like hot takes video, right? When we have like opposing viewpoints coming anyway. So I think this could be one of the better hot take videos we've done in a while. So, all right, let's lock in. I'll let y'all know when I see the one because it's a take that I really disagree with too. Okay, let's see. So we're starting with an event doesn't have to be the hardest event to be considered a challenge or the best fight. Well, yeah, I mean, okay, so I kind of have put the Super Saiyan 3 Goku fight as sort of like the standard fight. And I mean, I don't, calling that the hardest is like, there is difficulty, but it's certainly nowhere in like the level of any of the hardest fights ever. Fight presents you with unique obstacles, playing around device strategy to set up your win conditions. Far more enjoyable than just stick your dodge unit in slot 1, hit him with your big stat stick. You know what's funny? Is you just made a great argument for greatest tourist Jiren, by the way. Yep, you sure did. Sure did. Okay. I mean, yeah, sure. I mean, this is not really... I mean, typically... how do I word this? I think like some of the biggest hype around the game overall would be like they would drop like a really crazy like fusion. Like look at when they dropped 7th anniversary characters or like HL Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, right? From the dedicated players, it does seem like the interest peaks when there's a fight that wipes out the game. Like a ridiculously unfair, oh my god, hard level fight, right? And I mean, the only one of those we've had since Goku Black and Zamasu dropped, really, is probably greatest towards Jiren. All the rest of these fights, God Goku, Triamite Goku, I mean, they're like kind of like solid fights, but I think you could call it boring. This is the one I saw right here, which I think that I vehemently disagree with this. Not only was Greatest Tours the best fight this year, I think Greatest Tours is the best designed fight in Dokkan history. It is the best designed fight in Dokkan history. Feeling people get that way is because they're looking at it with rose-colored glasses. Due to the landscape we were left with post 11th anniversary, I'm not really understanding his point there because people were furious at the quality of the 11th anniversary. So that's not really rose-colored glasses when people were very upset, actually. Challenging for sure, but it was poorly designed, heavily RNG reliant. Well, I mean, RNG plays a big factor, but like that's kind of the game. Poorly designed, I think I would just, I literally could not disagree more. Here, let me pull the fight up since it's loading slow. All right, here we go. So, Greatest Tourist Jiren, again, I think this is probably the best designed, like, one of these, like, what do we want to call it? Like, monster fights, hardest fights. Funny enough, the worst designed one of these fights of all time is definitely 2022 Red Zone, by the way. Broly is the worst designed of one of these fights of all time. Because what his fight was, which is movie stage 7 right here, is it's dodge canceling the whole way through. And this guy, like, it's just, you get to this phase and he kills the whole team, and there's nothing you can do about it besides use items. Like, that was the fight. You get to him, And like when I no itemed this guy, it was only because he didn't super the first turn. And then I had Easy 8, the newly released Easy 8 LR Super Saiyan 4 Goku on turn 2, nuked him with my active skill. That's how I was able to no item this guy. This, like, if you want to talk about poor design, worse design, look no further than this guy. They can't do worse than this. Dodge canceling the whole way against a boss at the time you could not tank. You had Tech God Goku, and that was mostly it. The gods at points, if it was favorable RNG especially, could really eat it well. Like if the gods, you're in this phase and they're able to do a bunch of supers transformed and then Broly with super, like I want to say I remember them being fine at that point. This was just absurd. And keep in mind, this is February of 2022 when we don't have waves and waves of characters with special abilities, crazy abilities. The game, we had like less than 1/3 of the amount of kind of like quality designed elite level characters. Nowadays, we have many characters from many different situations. You just have to simply get a little creative. Now, this fight opens with dodge canceling, right? Which is, I mean, hey, like Celtic said, fights can be a lot better than just, stick your dodge unit in slot 1. I agree. That's why I think the best design fight is a dodge canceling fight. Although in phase 2, certainly you do need to dodge, but we'll get to it. So you have this right here. Then he's lowering your ki by 3, lowering or this is him getting stronger, but then he's lowering your attack and lowering your defense, right? So you go, well, how could this possibly be well designed? If he's canceling dodge, by the way, he also does a slot 1 2 million AoE, right? Which is always in slot 0. How could that possibly be a well-designed fight? How could anything about that be good? Twofold reason. Number 1, you can attack debuff this guy. So that allows you to get very creative with some team comps that we could do in here. Now I don't know that I would consider this very creative. This is just a lot of the best characters, right? Although I remember this being a very tricky one. Here's one where you use Gohan, Goten, and Trunks. They were pretty good for this because Gohan would be able to tank at the start, and then we haven't. While I'm talking about this, we haven't gotten to the part yet. But in the second phase, he has 100% defense ignore. So you need either very high damage reduction characters or dodge characters for the second phase. But it felt like this guy melted pretty quickly. Only 800 million HP, and then he had 600 million in turn 1. Felt like this guy died fast, but it was very, very, very scary, right? So we have that. This was definitely a nice run right there. Here we use Gohan and Gamma 1. Kind of looks pretty normal. We got like a bunch of good characters there. Here's the God run, which I guess, again, a lot of the same characters. Here we got Carnival Goku there for the Super Saiyan 4s. But then, oh no, wait, where's... Oh no, that was the one I didn't get to. No, I'm thinking of this one right here. So look at this setup we use right here, right? So remember how Jiren has an attack that will AoE, 2 million AoE. Gamma 2 dies instantly to that hit, but you're able to attack debuff. We were using characters like Tech Beerus, Gamma 2. Now, I'm not going to pretend like this was a consistent strategy or an easy strategy. This was actually very difficult, very, very hard. But the design of the fight allows for many different characters to kind of get involved to attack debuff this guy, right? I felt like was very, very fun. And then some of these powerful team protection mechanics could go crazy. It's if this fight would return, the community would get a lot more lively. There are many characters such as LR Metal Cooler, Tech Metal Cooler, AGL Cell Max. These god characters would be good in there. Obviously Majin Vegeta and Super Saiyan 2 Goku, Deborah. We have many characters here who would be so fun to test out against the real mechanics of a devastating boss, right? Who has, like, his design is set up in such a way to where, I don't know. If you were there when this guy dropped to, you saw, like, a lot of the I mean, it's not all about just catering to like, the most dedicated players and the most experienced players. Like, I do think like the devs need to balance stuff out, right? We need to have like, because a lot of kind of like casual players, they don't even enjoy any type of fight like this. Like, let alone greatest towards Jiren. They're not really looking forward to, even red zone fights. I see it all the time. I've seen players say, I don't do red zone. I'm not interested in that, right? So it's good that they do the lower level content, the kind of medium level content. But then, some fights like this are very good, where this really had kind of like the most skilled players, the most dedicated players. Like we were all challenging ourselves with these no item runs. This was fun. That shit was fun as hell. I cannot wait for this to come back. You can heavily RNG reliant is definitely 100% fact, but I mean, a lot of the game really is, right? That's where people get very frustrated once we start getting into the topic of like daily limited attempts, right? Because like right now, you could say the game, it doesn't feel very RNG reliant. People are, every day I'm seeing people are having fun using the 10th anniversary fusions and tech UI and stuff like that to solo these fights. You're able to do that because you could just keep going until you get the good RNG to set it up, right? Whereas if there's like, limited attempts, all them old characters, they don't work because it's like you need to, try to set up the good perfect RNG, right? So it's funny how this could tie into attempt limits and all this stuff, but I think this is the best fight of the year. I think this is a better fight than any fight released last year, the year before, the year before, the year before. I don't think this is the hardest fight of all time because that's this. I mean, I would say, let me change what I said to red zone era, right? We're just going to go in the red zone era. This is the hardest fight. And I don't, like, dude, you can't even, the thing is, you can't even replicate this style of difficulty because we have too many characters that do shit that could get around this now. Back then, we didn't, right? We didn't have LR Metal Cooler who could just, Fat Boo. Fat Boo would die to the AoE and then the next turn he has a Ghost Usher. Like, that shit wasn't around when we were doing this fight. Nowadays, if they would try and do a modern replication of this, they could, but we would have many options to sort of beat its ass, right? So yeah, this is the tweet that reeled me in, but I could not disagree any harder. Like it, I thought the Jiren fight was very good, very well done. It was very fun, and it's good to have some fights like this every once in a while. Certainly, again, as you guys have noticed, like the most dedicated players are definitely a lot more lively when one of these is sitting around. When Red Zone Fusions Amasu is here, that type of fight, right? Worst things to come out was time. Oh yeah, I mean we all agree with this. Led to the worst Dokkan Twitter eras. Oh, interesting. Complaining was nonstop, went too far. I mean, yeah, I do think that's kind of like a very common. I mean, it's a very common thing though. I mean, the joke, like, bro, like complaining and stuff. I mean, it's always been like that, right? Given the devs mentioned this was a test, I believe this. Yeah, yes. Okay. So here's I'm going to use my words carefully here. Um, I believe this was a test, but it was a test where players are saying we don't like daily limited stages, right? Red zones being daily limited, but I mean it's not to get too much into it, but a lot of it is because people want to use their, they want to push their agendas for their shitty characters, right? And when there's daily limits, it's I don't know. It just doesn't like it's much more difficult to do some of the shenanigans, right? But I think they probably got enough feedback from the dedicated players, not really like in attempt limits. So they experimented by rather than having attempt limits, they were going limited time content. Where okay, so there is no attempt limits, but it's only around for a little while. But that's way worse. It's 1,000 times worse, right? We'll take the daily attempt limits are 100 like 100 times out of 100 way better, right? So I think they did get like probably surprised by the reaction, the reception to the limited time events and stopped it. I truly believe that all of the RE content, all of it was intended to be these limited time events, at least at the start. So I do think that had players not complained, here's the thing though, the complaining, I believe, led to this change, right? So, I Dokkan Twitter goes too crazy complaining always, right? For sure. But I mean, in this instance, it is true that I do think the complaining did lead to positive change, right? Because I think that this Ari Red Zone Cell Max right here, this would have been a 2.5 week event, 3 week event, right? Same with Trio Might Goku, the God Goku and Super Saiyan 2 Vegeta Supreme Innocent Battle, right? I think that's what would have happened. That was the intended design. So my guess is in 2027, we're probably like 12th anniversary, probably just going to be daily limited attempts, would be my guess. Just like Red Zone, Supreme Innocent Battles, daily limited attempts. That's kind of like my prediction at the moment. Believe the player surveys played a larger role in the decision to stop time limit content. Yep. And the daily Twitter complaints, at least. Oh, okay. Okay, so Celtic is saying he thinks that Twitter complaint, like, it's less of Twitter complaints and more about this, but I mean, they are hand in hand at the same time, right? Like, a lot of people were unified in complaining very loudly on Twitter, but then also, like, putting that into the survey and sending that to the devs. So I see what he's saying here, but it does at the same time go hand in hand. Japanese devs tend to filter out Western Twitter at times, but I mean, it's people see how they, I mean, have at least, like, we're aware that they have approached me, and a lot of it is, they are wanting opinions and stuff from this side of the community, the Western side of the community. So while I do agree with Celtic here too, that certainly I do think the Japanese devs, they favor the Japanese player opinions. I think there's nothing we can't get around that in like any, like, it's not a Dokkan thing, right? It's just, we're not gonna be able to get around that, but they do care about our opinions as well. I could promise you that they do. Focus on the Japanese player base when it comes to these things. Yeah, and yeah, exactly. Not exclusive to Dokkan, correct? Yep. This is true, and we've seen this right here. Right here. Focus on, yeah, this is true, and we've seen this come into play many times before. I am pretty sure that Chain Battle's demise is much more to do with Japanese players' feedback than the Western community, right? And I think that would go hand in hand as well with the current format of this year's celebrations, where right now we're leaving TDC. Last year it was GDC we were leaving, and it was the best celebration in Dokkan history, right? I think the schedule going back to the way it was previously, that's Japanese player feedback as well. I think so. Oh, whoa. I haven't read a word yet. I'm going to take a nice sip of a frosty Pepsi Zero Sugar here. Wow. Okay, let's see what he says. In terms of character picks, Daima was a better choice for 11th anniversary than the part 2 characters. My prediction is maybe he'll say because UI and the Super Saiyan 4s are overused compared to the Daima character's introduction. That's a fair point. But, I mean, I think it gets a little bit lost in the sauce now. There's 3 separate things that kind of, like, were a big, like, okay, the 11th anniversary ended up being a bit of a dud. Just vibes. Didn't really seem like there was as many events. There was not as many EZA characters, right? So that is a factor, but that came in way later, right? Nano, he was kind of like did his thing about how the animations of the LRs did underwhelm him. I mean, for part 1 of Anniversary, and I feel like Nano was spitting the truth on that, right? And then also there was a third thing, which is a lot of players just weren't that excited for these characters. It's just Daima missed the mark, unfortunately. It did. It does not have the lasting appeal. People will get on Twitter all day long and be like, fuck Dragon Ball Super, fuck Dragon Ball Super, fuck Dragon Ball Super. But they drop some Dragon Ball Super shit, and people are way more excited than anything else, right? Like, that's just how it is. UI Goku and all these characters, like, people go way more crazy. Like, these guys are, like, borderline flops, unfortunately. I think we're going to see a lot more of them as time goes on, of course, in Dokkan, right? And there'll be parts of other major celebrations, but I mean, it's like we have characters who, kind of flopped. I mean, sure, if, these guys didn't have the, on par for best animations in the game's history, Dokkan original animations, and some of that quality was put into these guys, how well would they look, right? Like, All right, so let's see what he says. So, Daima's better choice for 11th anniversary than the Part 2 units. Part 2 units, while good animations are credible choices. Yeah, that's what I figured his point was going to be. I mean, that is true, right? Like, Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta has been in the 11th anniversary. It's been in the 8th anniversary, 7th anniversary, 4th anniversary, 2nd anniversary, right? And then, like, I mean, if you start talking about his easy A's too, right? Like, bro, like, you know, dude, like Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta has been spammed during anniversary, but like, you know, it works. I think that's a thing that a lot of people kind of like. At some point, we'll stop arguing over the same things all the time. Like, I'm sorry, guys, but like, Dokkan knows Super Saiyan 4s fucking kill. They kick ass. So, I mean, you just, like, maybe some of y'all are just not able to, like, put yourselves in the shoes of the person who does get the final call. Okay, 11th anniversary part 2. Who are the two characters? You're getting the final call. And if it flops, your job is gone. Are you gonna go Kid Goku? Or are you gonna go the shit that you know works? Like, I think a lot of people just, like, they lose sight of the fact that, like, shit like that is a real thing. You know. They were terrible picks for the anniversary. Man, I I can't agree too, because like as we're this far away from the anniversary, as far as I'm aware, and most would agree, the only good thing about the anniversary is these two. These are quite literally the only good thing about the anniversary, basically. As we're this far away. This is it. This is what we have from the 11th anniversary. No one likes these characters at all. I mean, it's, you know, Super Saiyan 4 Goku's EX Super. There's not, like, I expected there to be more defenders for this guy than there are with how good his kid is. There's not. And people don't give a fuck about this Vegeta. Like, the Diamond characters are just flops. They're just flops. Hands down. Nah, bro, come on. I don't. Super Iseis are supposed to be mid. I mean, I can't agree. I don't like. If we would look at the level that like Physical Turles and Final Form Cooler came out on, I mean they're like solid. Like they're mid characters. They're mid. I think Physical Turles, Super Easy Cooler are mid. I still would like just a little bit above that, right? Like every character seemingly is good, so it's not the end of the world when, you know, 1 out of 10 characters isn't that good. But like Super Eases are supposed to be mid. I mean, these are iconic characters. Like it's like, you know, a longtime player would love to see his, you know, this is the character that brought me to the game. I'd love to see them respected, not mid. Players have an unrealistic expectation for what a Super Easy A is. Trend has been pretty well established with only a few exceptions. Super Easy A's, because they're mostly available to players for free, or close to it, sure, tend to be middle of the road with a few exceptions. Let me take a look. I feel like that's not true. I feel like they have trended more towards being very good, if I'm not mistaken. I have a Super Easy A playlist. Yeah, here we go. Okay, so mid. Pull out the calculator. I'm gonna type down a 1. For Cooler is mid. Beerus and Whis, nope. Bobbity, no. UI, no. Vegeta, no. Trunks. Is he mid? Damn, this one's tough, dude. I don't know. I feel like he's pretty good. 3-turn support. He's Rainbow Orb changing. What do you guys think? I don't want to give him mid, man. I don't. I'm not going to give Trunks mid. This is a free-to-play character. He's good. Majin Vegeta's getting mid, and so is Broly. I am going to do mid for both of them. Trunks and Goten, I don't really want to give them mid. Vegeta's mid, or bad. Super Saiyan 4 Goku's not. Omega's not. Zamasu Goku I'll give mid. Rose, I'm going to give Rose mid, I'm sorry. Vegito Blue I'm not too favorable on either, but I've heard people say they really like him. I'll let Vegito Blue live. Blue Kaioken's mid. Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta, mid. Gohan will go mid. People have said they like Janemba. Gogeta Vegito mid. 1, 2, okay. Buhan was good. Dude, I really liked the Ultimate Gohan. I feel like I should give him mid, though. I'm going to give Ultimate Gohan mid. Beerus, Goku, Frieza, definitely not. Broly, no way. Goku Black, man, his aging process did annoy me. Uh, hmm. Kid Buu was not mid. Gotenks was not. Super Saiyan 3 Goku. Goku Black and Super Saiyan 3 Goku. What should we do? You know what? Just to be fair, I'll give mid for both. So this is what we get to. So we got what? 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 14 is less than half. There's 33. So more often than not, they're better than mid. I mean, I guess it is close. It's close to 50%, right? But more of them are good than mid. And recently, it's not a lot of mid, right? Besides cooler. This year, it's only cooler this year. That's mid. Like if you would dare try and say Bobity's mid, like you just don't know what you're talking. Like someone that would say Bobity's mid doesn't know what they're talking about, right? Like same with I think the Spirit Bomb Goku. This is a free character. Like they kick ass. So yeah, I don't know. I don't agree. I mean, I guess it does seem like it was close to 50-50, right? So but saying they're supposed to be mid, I don't agree. Yeah, see, with few exceptions, I think that's horseshit. It's 50-50 or close to it, with more being good than even mid, too. Secondary options, this is not true. That's not true. I mean, what I've always felt like is that this was kind of like a really helpful villain mechanic, especially, right? Like many of these villain releases have been really useful, right? So Kid Buu and Goku Black were so important to those teams when they super easy aid. Full Power Frieza was very helpful as well. Buhan, of course, right? Like Janemba is a character who I kind of like haven't been as in love with like for a while, but people have told me I'm too harsh on him and he's very effective. So yeah, I mostly don't agree with this. They're supposed to be mid. No, that's not enjoyable to anyone. I get it though, because there was a point where people would over complain about regular EZAs. I felt like where it's like if the character was not like fucking slot one tanking, they're like, oh, they suck, right? Like that. I think if Celtic had approached it from regular EZAs, I'd be more on board because I've seen ridiculous complaints expecting that like some characters like I don't know like physical Turles was not gonna be like a slot one god or something like that, right? But my problem with physical Turles is if he's in slot 3 and he attacks first, he still gets killed, right? That's the problem. Okay, what's this? That's Omega Shenron. Oh, so this is probably from a couple of years ago. Rather see a challenge run from you that brings older units into different fights and using items to strategize build your win conditions. Upteenth, no item run with the best teams in the game. Now, Celtic is free to his opinion, but I mean, certainly that's what I mean when I say he usually lands on the opposite end of me on most things, right? Like, I would say the no item stuff mostly comes from me. I feel like I'm the one who kind of popularized that. I guess if I'm not, forgive me for saying I am, but okay. Here's the thing. Yeah, people can do that. Like, Toon does the no new units runs, right? Now, I want to tread carefully here, and I certainly don't want to bash how other people play the game. I don't care if people use items or whatever and stuff like that, but I mean, items actually just like they invalidate like any difficulty practically. Like when you pop a Whis, like okay, so a Whis gives you 40% damage reduction for 2 turns. Okay, if you look at any modern character, I mean, they are filled. You pop a Whis, and these characters have 100% damage reduction, like for multiple turns. And you could say, oh, but maybe we're doing like no new units or something like that. But like, I mean, you still like, bro, even okay, no new units. Like as far because again, I consider myself a pretty big fan of Toon. I watch him a lot, right? So for him, it's a like no new units is until the character returns on like a new banner or something like that. Or like Super Daima Super Saiyan 4 Goku counts because he's easily available with red stones right now, right? But like, I mean, so like a no new units run, but we're rocking this guy and we're using like a Whis item, it's impossible to lose. Right? So like I don't I mean, yeah, like people are free to do any type of runs they want to. Like another good one would be like speed runs. I'm a very horrible like fast run player. Like I'm not good at moving fast. Right. So like that's another potential. Like, you know, you could have certain types of like item, no item runs or item, you know, challenge runs. Like, you know, again, no new units type stuff, speed runs, the no item runs, which are my favorite, right? Stuff like that, right? These types of wins show me more of a player's skill. Yeah, nothing says more about a player's skill than 2 turns of 100% damage reduction for the whole team. That's very skilled. But let me not be too. I don't. I don't want to be too nasty because I do at the same time tell people don't just sit there and follow my rules where I don't want to use items. Right? Play how you want to play. I try and emphasize that as much as I can. I'm going to do this shit with no items, and I'm judging characters with no items, but no one needs to follow my self imposed stuff, right? That's a huge thing. So, I mean, by that, yeah, like I'm definitely not pushing no item shit on people. No way, right? And maybe I have like in like 2020 or 2019, but for years now, or at least a long time, I've been trying to push like, yeah, bro, guys, like, you know, like just, you know, use your items, crush missions, crush content, and then maybe come back and try some no item stuff if you want to afterwards. That'd be my recommendation, right? Best Siege. This is again. I think Celtic has a thing against the Blues, which, you know, I personally, um, I probably like all of the GDC characters over this unit except for Rose at this point. Like certainly like this character's got like a lot more tech than Rose does probably, right? So you could probably put this character over Rose, but like I mean Omega could still get get shit done, dude. I mean you take Omega, and I mean you guys do realize that the metal coolers and Lude are on Omega's team very seamlessly. Like it's pretty easy to do. So like I don't like I personally would take Omega, Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, and the Blues over Gohan, Goten, and Trunks. They might have an argument for best aging 2026 GDCLR. Again, I don't agree. I mean, it's very obviously the Blues by far, but I mean, even as number 2, I would say Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. I like more. Gohan side has great synergy with a lot of important teams. Works super well with like the Angel Super Saiyan 2 Goku, right? Remember, you never want to lose sight of how powerful the Gotenks active is too. By the way, I mean you know if you try and go for like more of like a full youth type of run, you know some of the weaker characters you would use to kind of like do it could cause you L's, but you could get some hilarious turns at the same time. This is so obscene right here, right? This is such a ludicrous ability. Not nearly as frail as people think. People are blinded by the use side of the unit to see the potential they have. Yeah, because, I mean, Gohan turn 1 is not going to go down easy. And then pretty much no matter what, you go into Trunks and Goten. And, I mean, you're going to have a minimum of an 87% chance to dodge on their first turn. Because at least one youth character will be on the team, them, that's 10%. And then their first turn, they have 77%. So at minimum, they have 87% chance to dodge their first turn, which is very good, right? So, but I mean, that's all. Like, it's good. Like, I would like to talk about them in a more favorable light, but to compare them to the Blues is laughable. No offense, I don't want to be too rude here, but I might have an argument. There's a zero argument, man. I'm sorry. There's no realm in which they're argued over the Blues. I'm sorry. No way. No way. No way. This is good. This is good stuff. This is good stuff. A lot of people made this mistake. I mean, I did this with Int Broly, right? That was more so my problem. Int Broly is like, yeah, like I know he's great right now, but like, bro, like he's gonna not be great. But like, it's every character that happens with, right? Yeah, people were so quick to put Daima Mini Goku in the grave. Oh, 11th anniversary, that power creep, he's fucked, and it didn't even work out that way, right? So yeah, this is a good point. I agree completely. Yeah, you really want to like wait until the actual like power creep comes before anticipating it's gonna come, right? For sure, for sure, for sure. Worst 10th anniversary unit by a long shot. Well, Gohan's not in the discussion. We're not falling for fucking Twitter propaganda. First off, Gohan is quite literally not in these talks. I'm sorry. It's between Evolution Blue Vegeta and Goku and Frieza, but like I mean, Goku was really good. This side was really good. I'm not sure. Let's read this. Okay. So they're the worst 10th anniversary unit by a long shot. Not only is the kit incredibly wonky, should be reversed is a great point. Yeah. Because the character is not designed well, in that Frieza, who you start out with, needs to be damaged to have his good potential, right? Here, let's just clear a bunch of these tabs. They're probably like 7 back. One more page. Okay. So Frieza, yeah, right here. He wants to be low HP to hit this. Whereas Goku, he wants to be high HP to hit this. What do you start the fight out at? High HP. So their design always sucked. Yeah. Stole moments from other portions. Oh, okay. So we're heading down the train tracks of fuck this character out of the 10th anniversary for Kid Goku. I'm with it. Hell yeah, dude. They could get the fuck out of here, and we put in Kid Goku in the slot instead. W. Yep, we all stand and applause. Now, people would say, no, get rid of Evolution Blue Vegeta, but it's Vegeta, dude. Like, guess what? There's going to be a Vegeta in the anniversary, so this is the chopping block character. Unit's supposed to be Goku versus TOP, but all the missions are pre-TOP, yeah. It's a mix of Baba, like the fortune teller Baba, like, fight, like, where they're there, and, you know, the very end of the TOP, yeah. Waste a miracle. Well, waste is a strong word because they could redo shit. And people do cry, oh my god, there's a little bit of reused. Who gives a fuck, man? If 90% of the characters new, who cares about reuse? That thankfully, I have not, like, it was buried. People don't complain about it at all that in Super Saiyan 4 Goku, a lot of his active skills reused. And thankfully, people give it a pass because of how great the animations are on the character, right? And when they do perfect one-to-one shots, I would much rather they reuse part of it rather than like redo, like saving budget to put into other characters. And we can get into the talks of, some people say the budget isn't real, but it is real. And, but they make $1 billion. Yeah, I know, of course. But no corporations are our friends. We know this. Like, the $1 billion Dokkan makes does not go back into Dokkan, right? We know where it goes, man. And it's right. Like, come on. So, like, if we're gonna do like some Beast Gohan type shit, I mean, they don't need to redo the active skill special beam cannon. I mean, I guess they did for the new character, which is fine, but like, a lot of times that shit doesn't need to be redone, right? Like, I actually almost would say, like if this new Beast Gohan, rather than the special beam cannon, if he had done like a crazy like Kamehameha instead as his active skill, right? Which is something Beast didn't do, but then we'd set the precedent that he's got it in this Dokkan card, right? Only anniversary reveal to be met with live studio audiences. That's the funny moment where, yeah, I remember it, like, it was, so there was like a part 2 reveal where they revealed the arts, and they played like one animation for all the characters or whatever, and it was like Amatsu and them were like, all right, clap for whichever character you want to see or whatever, and this character like yeah, Toon is like, yeah guys, and he's clapping, and he's like, why is no one clapping? Yeah, that was funny. All right, what do we got here? No. Yeah, no way. So I mean, remember, okay. I thought Celtic was kind of anti-dodge, but I mean, Super Saiyan 3 Goku, remember, he is Mr. Dodge or Die. That's what Super Saiyan 3 Goku is. Super Saiyan 4 Goku obviously is a bit better, and I mean, his transformation certainly functions the same way Orange Piccolo's does. But remember, Orange Piccolo's is significantly better because it is multiple turns. These days, because of the way bosses are, yeah, maybe I might like throw that point away though, that Goku's only a one turn transformation. These days, these bosses are designed in such a way where they don't go turns without supering. Back in the day, when in Orange Piccolo's heyday, sometimes bosses wouldn't even super on a turn. That pretty much doesn't exist these days, right? Like, remember the Goku Black and Zamasu fight? That was where, you know, if they didn't super attack, if they just randomly didn't super, the game made them super attack on their last attack, always, right? On turns where they might have not supered. So like nowadays with bosses designed in that way, that helps Super Saiyan 4 Goku or Goma or Lude or some of these characters like that, right? And then obviously Orange Piccolo. Um, I don't know. I mean, I guess to be fair though, maybe he is more so right because look at this. I mean, Goku is what, January 30th of 2025? That is quite some time. We'll see. Maybe. I do see a lot of people using this guy effectively. I mean, having these access to these giant forms, these rage modes, is so good. It's like, dude, literally yesterday, right? Like I almost want to pull. I want to pull the tweet up quickly. Yesterday, it's like, okay, so full Super Saiyan is finally being added into a Dragon Ball game, Sparking Zero, which is so sick. So I was like, all right, guys, the full Super Saiyan Goku and Dokkan and Legends watch begins now. And a bunch of people are like, oh, it could be just like an active skill or a rage mode or something like that. And it's like, that's good. That's a good thing. That means he's gonna fucking kick ass, man. Like it's not a bad thing. That's not a bad thing. That's not a bad thing. So yeah, you know what? Maybe I do need to be less harsh on this guy. Maybe I need to try and get like a video in on him or something like that. Okay. This period of time where the hardest on Dokkan might have been the best meta we're ever in. I mean, it's just back then there was just so few good characters with like good mechanics and stuff. Man, I don't know. I just don't look at these eras like with the nostalgia glasses. Like I look at, I mean, people will get mad at me for this, but like I look at these eras and I kind of like sigh. Like I know people say, "Oh, that was when the game was at its best," but it's because it was more fresh, and Dragon Ball Super was more fresh, ongoing, right? Like I do think there's gonna be a lot of life breathed into these games when Dragon Ball Super is back airing. That's just I do think that you guys will see. I think it's gonna transform things, but like the game was so subpar compared to what it is now. I just look, I look back and like disgust, like, ugh, damn, like it's like, bro, Dokkan has improved so much. I mean, I'm not gonna pretend like this shit was not peak though, right? Legendary Goku event, that shit was so fire. We as a community understood the difference. Yeah, Celtic really doesn't like Toke on Twitter. Bro, he's just like me. He's just like me. Yeah, bro. Every one of these is a subtweet at Toke on Twitter itself, man. Celtic, man. He's just like me, man. He's just like me. I gotta drop a follow after that. Yeah, we're brothers, man. Bro, every post is a that joke on Twitter. I love it. It is kind of funny. Oh, is this the last one? No, maybe. Okay, let's see. Unit doesn't have to be number one to be good. Oh, of course. Don't even need to make the top 10. This guy was like borderline top 10. I mean, he's definitely usable. He does hit his intended purpose. I just wish that this guy did more than just damage. That's the thing. It's just we're in an era now where if a character can only do one thing, it's just like man, like I yeah, but Beast only does one thing, damage, but he's better at doing damage than any other character. So all right, we've got a little bit more here. Okay, tier lists and Dokkan are dumb. Yeah, but people eat them up. I mean, it's sorry. Look at any community, Dead by Daylight, doesn't matter. Like people eat that shit up. They want it. They're fiending for it, right? PvE game largely based on how you build a team than individual unit performance. To an extent, sure, but there obviously are huge standouts. More appropriately, top 10 teams. The thing with teams, I explained this before, man. It is just how it goes. Like, if you didn't design the team, or if it's got a character on that you wouldn't use, people just instantly like they talk about like I'm sure a lot of people like these like would look at like a team Celtics and oh that team fucking sucks, right? Because they didn't build it, right? But people were mad at me for running fucking Yakon on Majin Vegeta's team recently. Oh, this team is so bad. That team kicked fucking ass. They hated it. So I mean I don't really. I hear I know top 10 teams. Metal Cooler Team Variant 1, Metal Cooler Team Variant 2, Metal Cooler Team Variant 3. There you go. There's top 3 teams. We're good. This is top 10 right here? Gome over UI. Wow, okay. I mean, this isn't bad. Turles is way too low. Turles has got to go way up, bud. Way up. Besides that, though, I mean, this generally looks good to me. I just think Turles is too low. I mean, you can get the blues up or something like that, right? But that's not the end of the world. I'm just looking at what my... So this is what my tier list is right now. It doesn't feel that different from his. Like people I think get too caught up around am I gonna say here Gome is 2 for me and UI is 1? Am I gonna sit here and press him because he just has him in, like that doesn't matter. Like we generally feel like the same about these characters. The only thing I'd look at here and disagree heavily, I think Turles is too low. That's the only thing. Yeah. Rest of it's fine. All right, what else we got? This one's oh yeah, okay. Well, okay. So here's the thing with the Trunks. Yeah, he's not as bad as people said. That's correct. Because people put him in Goku Black tier or talks, STR Jiren talks, not in those talks whatsoever. But he was inserted into a meta that it was very rough for him, like STR Pan, like Int Fusion Zamasu. Those characters likewise were inserted into a meta that was just very difficult for them. That's kind of like what a big thing was, right? Stu, it's easy. It was not nearly as bad as people said. Was he undertuned? Yes. Yep. Had he released a week later, would have been far less complaints. Is quite good on the Gohan team. Maybe, yeah, could be true for sure. Trunks is, I think, much more effective in kind of today's meta, right? Because Trunks in Super Saiyan is pretty solid, but the earliest you could possibly be Super Saiyan with him is turn 5, right? That I felt like was a huge mistake with this guy. They should have made it to where like he could transform if he attacked like one. Well, I guess, but it was his active skill. They should have made it to where turn 1 he could attack enough times to trigger his active on a second turn. That's what they should have did. People care more about slander than the actual performance. This is so true. This happens a lot. This does happen a lot. Yeah, it sure does. Sure does. People care more about slander. Yeah, they do. People these days, they fucking love it. They're waiting for one of these fucking private server baiters to like just really sell a unit, make them look terrible, and then people go crazy with the memes these days, right? They're always looking for the next victim Dokkan character. They want to draw their slander art and go crazy with them. Yeah, that's true. That's true. What? Wait, what? It was the first time I had to start blocking people because I was actually getting harassed over it. Or somehow with Trunks. Somehow with Trunks. Yeah, okay, okay. Yeah, crazy, crazy. I thought Trunks was pretty underwhelming myself. I mean, I think nowadays you could use him a little bit better, but there's just waves and waves and waves and waves of better characters, right? Dokkan Frontier wasn't nearly as... What? Significantly easier for a long time. Significantly easier? Issue was how community builds their teams and units. Brother. What? Is he trolling? How build our teams and units amongst? Can you tell me the options? Oh, that's these teams. Nah, come on, man. Dodge builds are absolutely terrible for this event, as you're often limited by turns. Well, okay, well, it could be different, right? Because there's the intensity. Sometimes the intensity would shoot up at level 2 and cancel dodge. Other times it's canceling crits and additionals. So, no, actually, I think balanced. You really want to be able to do everything because different fights can take stuff away quickly, right? We can see that this guy has a big anti-dodge thing, which is fine, but that's not even... I don't know how relevant this is to the discussion. He kind of just throws this in there. Switching my physical freeze to a full offensive build, for example, made a night and day difference for that one mission. For that one, yeah, for the one mission, dude. But you're not gonna. Well, hold on, Celtic, brother. We're not gonna say that that's a good mission. Like, it's not nearly as bad as people said. It was just an issue for their teams. Come on. She's talking about. I guess I'll hold on. I'll bring it up. All right, here we go. Dokkan Frontier, the last batch. Now which was this? This was a returning mission. Oh, it must be this one. It was 24, huh? 24 was the big issue one. Let's head to this. Yeah, this is where, so we have to finish. Yeah, I'll place it up on screen. Yeah, here it is. Node 24 in 2 turns. I don't, to sit there and say that's not that bad. Come on. That does, I don't know, because there's you it's not, bro, you have to finish in 2 turns. It's not like you have a huge like stockpile of characters. At a certain point, I did switch to bringing in physical, what's his name, myself, right? For sure. The physical full power Frieza. But like, dude, like okay, so here we are. We're on turn 2. Yeah, let's watch how this plays out. Okay, so Frieza was able to just kill Ginyu there. Okay. So that was a wasted run, and it's like, it's just kind of like trial and error until you kind of figure out the right setup. You get the right crit procs, additional procs. What's funny is people like, I'm not super sure why this is even written here, but like, people really don't care when their crit builds and additional builds fail. They're just like, yeah, whatever, it doesn't matter. But like, they fail one dodge and they're like, nope, dude, this is why I fucking hate dodge. Like, it's just a thing, right? And guess what? I do the reverse. You guys know about me in additionals, right? Additional normal, additional normal, additional normal, additional normal, right? Like, we know how that goes. But yeah, in Dokkan Frontier, you really more so want to be balanced, because each fight is bringing up different intensity level. Let's just pull up 3 random fights. We'll pick up this Ginyu fight. Let's do Node 24, which is the one we were just talking about. Annoying ass fight. And maybe let's just do Node 26, the last one. All right, intensity levels we're looking at. So right here, key disruption at level 1, and additionals are suppressed at level 2, right? So, okay, I removed my dodge build and went full additional. Well, guess what? Right? All right, here's Node 24. Key disrupt, dodge cancel at level 2, crit cancel at level 3, then super attack effect suppression. Okay, so we've built all in on dodge. Well, that could get canceled pretty quick if there's specific characters we want to keep out there for multiple turns. All right, then we got Node 26. Crit suppressed at level 2. You see what I'm saying? Like, what you actually want is not like, no, we must go all the way from dodge. No. That's not good advice. You want to try and balance characters out for this. But I mean, guess what? You know what Dokkan needs to do? This is where we could piggyback into another thing. They really probably should allow players to just freely switch around builds at this point, right? Like, I think that players could probably have a lot more fun if they could just change builds as they see fit and not be heavily taxed with resources by changing builds, right? I think that would be a good thing. This is silly though. No, it was just as bad as people said because of how limited it was. And the larger issue, I think, was in how the community builds their teams and units. Builds their teams. There was 10 good characters, so I don't agree. And even the dodge build point seems pointless to be here because it's not. Again, the fights are different and how they cancel stuff. So I don't even know why that's there. It's strange. We're bringing this back. Okay, let's see. Introduction to the carnival system remains to this day one of the worst things they've introduced. There is a huge problem with carnivals. Let's see if he brings it up though. Poorly communicated and executed. Is that true? They introduced it in the Dokkan Now. I mean, I do remember that it was Okay. Limited the quantity of yellow coins now available. Sure, because it now splits it up into 3 different banners. Make it harder for players to commit yellow coins. Sure. Yeah, the one problem is that yellow coin LRs at this point. I mean, you could just make the point that they could have just started to make yellow coin LRs better, right? But like yellow coin LRs really were just. I mean, even now it's very uncommon. I would say for a yellow coin LR to be truly like on that level. Goma is. There is one every year. AGL Golden Frieza was. Bulma was. Who was in 2024? Oh fuck, it's an. I think I forget this all the time, and it's an obvious one. Who is the crazy? I gotta look it up. Damn it. Cellmax. Cellmax was the crazy one in 2024. It was Cellmax. Yeah, he was nuts. He was nuts. Um, couldn't normally summon and crew coins to get the units later. Sure. I mean, if we're gonna say this made it harder to get these yellow coin characters, sure, that's not wrong. Made it more difficult for players to get yellow coin LRs. Yeah. Just increase the level of yellow coin characters. Oh, okay. So he does say that. Yeah, sure. I mean, that's fair, right? Like, you can't really say he's wrong about this. And keep the yellow coin system. Though the big problem, he could have added this in here, would have strengthened his point. This is a major problem that is really starting to pop up with a lot of these carnivals, in particular on global, because of how the sync was handled. By the way, a lot of these carnival characters are just kind of like left in limbo for a supreme amount of time. People are going to talk about future Gohan and Trunks, but I mean, the reason that they are kind of like in limbo, it's because Wrath Broly was in limbo, right? So Wrath Broly has been on 2 banners. And again, we don't give a fuck about New Year's banners and all that. We're just talking about new character banners. He had his own banner and then Cell Max. Look at this. 10 months later, he comes back. Now, he sucked. He's not really a great character, right? But Future Gohan is great, and now he's just not returned yet. Look at this. On Global, this character's been on 2 banners. Is that not crazy? Then Omega is Omega's banner, and then Super Saiyan 4. He's been on 2 banners. So this character's been on 2 banners. This character's been on 2 banners. To me, the biggest problem with Carnivals is that like they're them just never returning. How much longer? Okay, we're 57 minutes in. How much longer do we got here? Oh, we're right at the end. Okay, perfect. Top grossing is a meaningless judge of celebration. Okay, just quickly, I'm not sure. So people will talk about like when they talk about like top grossing like Legends and Dokkan and stuff like that, right? And I've seen both Legends players and Dokkan players be like, oh, but there's the web store now, which lowers this on the Google Play and iOS. I'd have to imagine that is true because I could speak for myself. I almost only exclusively buy on the web store, right? Like so I mean, just like 3 years ago, 4 years ago, I would have spent, I don't know, how much am I spending on Dokkan per year? 20K, more, less? I don't know, probably a lot more. That's just not going like funneling into like the Android top grossing or iPhone top grossing, and it's on web store, so that might be a huge role. But I think what more so has pushed Dokkan down from these heights right here is as we've gone into the Genshin Impact era. Genshin Impact and Honkai Star Rail, that type of gacha game, they took over, right? They dropped down and they put nuts on table. They are the big dogs, like those types of games now, right? Back in the day, Dokkan would be battling with Fate and the anime girl horse racing and shit. Like now, it just seems like I feel like those like ZZZ and those types of games, they just run shit, right? Hitting top grossing is more tied to units. Initial hype plays a role. Bro, he's talking about so many factors. UI, Fusion, Super Saiyan 4, Gohan and Cell, sure. Fusion, new Dragon Ball Super stuff, UI, Fusion, right? Like come on. Like, yeah, I get what he's saying, but like, come on, man. Like, it's, at the same, like, you can pull up the Kid Goku top grossing. Yeah, you can, but you get the point, right? Like, yeah, there's a certain type of character. calling a celebration back because it didn't hit top grossing. Sure. I mean, even in this recent celebration, I believe Beast Gohan's banner was third and the Tanabata banner was two. So, like, Dokkan has not, like, when it comes to this type of shit, it hasn't fallen off, I don't think. Because I do think the web store must play a huge factor. And I would say that that applies to Legends as well. Where, like, a lot of Legends profits are probably not in, like, these rankings, I would imagine, right? No, stop it, dude. Saiyan Saga, when it comes to these games, does not. It just it doesn't have the juice, man. Like we've played this song and dance a million times before. Yeah, like no, like bro, no one loves the series more than me. I truly appreciate the Saiyan Saga. I truly appreciate OG Dragon Ball, but that's not what we're talking about for a gotcha game. It's not like the themes of the story and shit. Like, nah, man. Is your hair fucking yellow? Is your hair blue? Then the Zoomers don't give a fuck, man. Okay? Like, they're not looking for base Goku versus base Vegeta. That's not what they're looking out for. Not only was the well, bro, yeah, because Toriyama is the fucking paneling goat. That's why the choreography is so great, of course. Yeah. Got it for the first time. Yep. Definition hype. Yeah, that's true. This is 100% true. If it was 1990, yeah, these guys would go crazy for anniversary. But it's 2026, actually, not 1990 anymore. The Saiyan Saga really, I feel like, has failed nonstop. People will point. Okay, so both Dokkan and Legends did this. 7th anniversary part 2. Dokkan was a flop, but those characters were also very bad, right? Legends, people would say, "Oh, Legends killed it." Nah, that was a trick. Legends did the huge monster battle system overhaul to kind of protect the Goku and Vegeta right there. So hey, if Dokkan wants to do like some crazy like big like addition like Legends did with ground battles in like a GDC, and then we have these guys as Carnival and Dokkan Fest along with that crazy new mechanic to kind of like be an assist to them. Sure, sure, but Saiyan Saga, no, it just does not have the interest that I mean, almost any. There's 10 sagas that people care about more. That's just how it is. Like, it is what it is. Don't care about leaks? I mean, I would prefer no leaks, but I do kind of, I mean, maybe it's kind of like a pessimistic view, but like I feel like leaks are there. Like it doesn't matter if you like them or not like them or what, like they're going to be there, right? So, like I kind of just, suck it up and move on, right? If anything, leaks are good for a gotcha game since dealing with real world cash here. Okay, I can see that it could be good. From a creator's perspective, allows me better advice on how when to spend your money versus when it's time to save. Maybe I would certainly much more enjoy a world where there were no leaks, but I mean, it is what it is. So, all right, that was fun. Yeah, this was an hour and 3 minutes. Wow. Yeah, a lot to talk about. A lot to talk about. Celtic did bring some good points to the table. No doubt about that. So, let me know what you guys think. The only thing is, I really do hate this one. This one right here. I really do hate this. Nah, bro, that was the best fight of this year, best fight of last year, best fight of the year before that, best fight of the year before that. Oh, yeah. Let me know what you guys think. I'll catch y'all next time.